to the Homeland Show. My name is Dane. We got Liz Charles here and Rico Rolando. And our special guest, Chad Bodden. Chad, thank you for coming to the show, man. We appreciate you, bro.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. Listen, we're just gonna jump into this, Chad. It's just we're doing Zoom interviews now for the Homeland Show, and it's been remarkable. And we've been trying to figure out like who can we talk to next, especially from a Homeland standpoint. And your name, came up a bunch of times because I heard that you are instilling a lot of laughter within people in the Cayman Islands, man. And it took a while. What happened? Because you was doing comedy for a while. You kind of slowed down for a while. So what happened there?
Boy, I've been busy with work. Don't really have no time to do any shoots. I got a few people saying they want, basically a cameraman do my edits because I don't really got time to sit down and do that anymore. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm getting old. When I get home, all I want to do is sleep. It's exhausting. I'd be exhausted. I'd be like, yo, it's a me time. Yeah. Me time. This weekend, I'll work on a video. I'll start it. If people don't show up, I'd be like, yo, it's cool. More me time. Mm-hmm. It's fine. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but I said I don't got no excuses now. It's COVID. Unfortunately, I had to take this in order for me to start dropping videos like crazy. But I mean, you got to work with what you got, boy.
Absolutely. How long, Chad? For those that don't know, how long does it take you to put together a video? Because sometimes people see a video and they're like, that looks pretty simple. It's funny and it looks like pretty simple. And all of a sudden, everybody on TikTok wants to be a comedian now. But how long does it take for a video? How long does it take for a video to come out?
Well, for me, it takes probably like 15 to 20 minutes.
That's good.
Depending on how much effects and stuff I got added, but other than that, it's.
See, now that he went and told everyone it takes 15 to 20 minutes, now more people are going to be out there trying to make their own video.
Okay, let me bring that back. If you know what you're doing, know what you're doing, because I had to teach myself how to edit videos.
Ooh,
you got to download different apps, and you got to see what works for you, guy.
It's good.
It's like the hardest part, really. Like the videoing is like the easiest part. Yeah. And when it's the edits, it's like that can take days sometimes.
It can take days. It depends. If you have no idea what you're doing, you're just going in head first. I suggest you practice first, like on sample videos before you go do your own thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I started off, my videos were garbage. Like, I remember when I started off on Dub Smash. Dub Smash was pretty easy. You just did voiceovers.
Yeah.
Then I took on the challenge. So, I'm going to start doing my own videos. Because I seen, like, man like King Batch and all these guys just coming up. And I'm like, these guys started off with, like, 10,000, 20,000 followers. And now these guys are, like, at 1 million. Yeah. Over 1 million, bro. And it's like, I just wasting time. So I had to strap in. My first video came out garbage.
Yeah. And you know what? I love that you said that. That was perfect that you said that, because I was reading this book recently called My Voice or The Voice by Angie Martinez. And she was saying that the first thing you have to do in order to become where you want to be, you have to be okay with sucking. Hate saying like that, but that's how she put it. She said, you have to be okay with sucking. Like she said, when she started off on Hot 97 on the radio station, she was horrible, but she was okay with being horrible to people. Like she was okay with taking that on. And I think when we all go back to our first thing we've ever done, we literally critique it harder than anybody would. Because I remember my first on-air break, I thought it was the world's best. And I go back and I look at it and I was like, who let me in radio? Why did you put me on?
Yeah, trust me. I mean, for every person that upcoming, every person that trying to work on their talents, their strengths, trust me, you can't be afraid to fail. Mm-hmm. Failing is like the biggest part of learning, or the biggest curb for your success. And if you're not used to that, trust me, you're not gonna elevate. You're not gonna reach nowhere. Yeah, so you can't be afraid to fail.
Exactly. And what was it like being one of like the first comedians, like right off the bat, using Instagram and social media from Cayman? Like, I know like when I first started out in music and it was being like a very time where it wasn't that many of us, we were judged constantly by people just because of breaking that stereotype of being whatever, you know? What
Oh,
was it like
trust me.
for your
Bro,
journey?
I would say for me, that was the hardest part for me because I was a different person before. I was, if anybody have known me or went to school with me, known that I was always a quiet person. Depending on who I'm around and who I'm comfortable around, I would be a joker. But around other people, I was quiet. And I was afraid to be judged by other people constantly. I was afraid of what they had to say about me. I was afraid of how they would look at me. And when I first started off doing videos, I was told by countless amount of people, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You too old for this. Stop. You're making a fool of yourself. Your video's not funny. You corny. And back then, I only used to get like 3 comments. 2 if I were lucky, of people laughing or sharing the video. And on top of me failing, I cried myself to sleep most nights like a big baby. I mean, I'm not afraid to talk about it now. I mean, before I was scared. I mean, I don't mean to. I was just gonna curse, but I was scared.
Yeah,
I
you're
was
good.
scared.
You're good.
Yeah, I was scared shitless to like tell people how and what I was going through at the time, and I just had to face that myself, yo. And then a couple weeks later, a couple months, more and more people started to come to my page. More and more people started to laugh. I started to get better at the videos, and I didn't hit a peak moment until I hit World Star. As soon as I hit World Star, and I tell people the story all the time, most people in Cayman not gonna recognize you until you are recognized internationally. And I don't ask me why or don't ask me how. I don't know. That is how Caymanians or some people in Cayman think. When they see you make it international, then everybody wants to jump on the wagon. And it's sad that we have to resort to you going to that extent when you should have had the support from before, from a long time. Yeah.
I think sometimes it all comes down to like us just being so small as well, and everyone like they'll maybe see you at the grocery store and they'll be like, oh yeah, that's the guy who like does videos, but they won't ever say it to you, but they'll comment and they'll like on your page. I just think like sometimes it's just because we're so small that people don't really want to like shout you out in that way, whereas they'll shout out any comedian before, any singer, any artist that they like personally, but they'll still be looking, but like low key, just like not being supportive, but still being supportive.
I personally think it's a fear of them. It's a fear of them not wanting to be the odd one out of their bunch, the odd one out of the bunch of their friends. To say, yo, go check Rico out. His music good. I like his music. Go check Chad out. He funny. And then for their friends to come out and be like, oh, you watch out corny fool. Or Rico try and sing. Rico can't sing. Like, I'm sure you've had to face these comments. You've heard these comments before. I've had to deal with them a numerous amount of times. I got people out there when I go out. People hail me left, right, and center now. Like, oh, I want to take a picture with you. You the comedian. You came out comedian. And it's all love. Trust me, I love it. It never gets old. It makes me look back and say, yo, it's a good thing I didn't give up all of those years ago when I was crying in my bed saying, yo, just delete Instagram. I was never a social media person. Never had Facebook, never had Instagram, never had Twitter, never had nothing. I didn't get Instagram until it was 2000 and I would say 13, 14.
Wow.
It was either 2000. Yeah, it was either 2013 or 2014.
So can you actually tell me why then you were inspired, given that you're quiet, what inspired you to want to do this? And then how long did it take between your starting to do it and you actually hitting on World Star and what that felt like?
What inspired me to move was my sister came to me one Easter and she was like, yo, I think you should get Instagram. And I'm like, why should I get Instagram? It is all the same foolishness. People watching the business, people sharing foolishness about, yeah, why should I get Instagram? And she was like, yo, there's this new thing called Vines. Mm-hmm. I said, what the hell is a Vine? And she was like, bro, you can get so famous by making a 15-second video. And if it's funny enough, it'll get shared around the world. And it's so easy for you to connect to people. And I said, really? So I started to fool around on her page, and I started to like watch other comedians, like King Batch. I mentioned him earlier. Yeah. I used to watch his videos all the time, like his Vines and stuff. And I was like, yo, these videos are so easy. Like, I can come up with these. I said, but at the same time, I was fighting with myself. I was like, no, you're not that type of person. If you do that, people can be like, yo, Chad, you changed. And I can be like, yeah, sorry, blood. You know? So I was like, yo, it's time for me to change and come out of my shell. Like, I'm not getting any younger. I'm getting older. I see actors talk about it all the time, saying, yo, if you got a dream, go for it, blood. Don't hold back. You got to start somewhere. You're going to fail 100 times before you can succeed one time. I was like, okay.
So this is so true.
Let's do it.
So then how long did it take from that point to you getting on World Star? And then what did it feel like when you finally had the validation of all of these people internationally celebrating you?
Okay, I can tell you right now. I am scrolling down.
I'm surprised it's not just like off the top, like it's so ingrained in you from that moment.
No, because I mean, it has happened so many times now that I just completely forgot about the first time. But I remember the first time. I just don't remember the date.
That's okay.
Where is it?
We don't need to know the exact date. It's okay.
Oh, this is a special date. It was March 28, 2017.
Oh, wow.
So 3 years later. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But the day, what was it? The day before, I got asked to open a major hype show. No, actually, that was Miss Cayman. The day before, I got asked to do a comedy skit at Miss Cayman. And that was amazing. Like the feedback I got from people, because it's nothing Cayman was used to. Everybody's used to this banking, accounting. It was like, yo, let's bring a comedian up here and let's switch up the regular routine. And I will never forget that night. It was when Monique was she was letting go her crown. I would never forget that night. I was so nervous. I was sweating so much. Like, yo, when I sweat, Dane, I sweat, bro. Like, showering. I'm like in the back. I'm nervous. I'm like, yo, I never gone on stage before. This is gonna be my first time. And I'm like, yo, help me. My sister's there.
That's not even like a small crowd either that you're going into. Not 10.
Nah, it's a massive crowd.
Hundreds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had cameras and all that there. They were live and stuff. I was like, that live? Because I was in back of the crowd before they called me up, and they were like, yeah. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to go up here and I'm going to fluke. They're going to make a meme out of me after this, but like.
You were thinking about all the worst things that could happen. And you know what? That's I think fear is 100% a sign of greatness. Like, I've always told people that because, bro, there was times that your story has literally impacted me today alone. That's how I know I'm growing every day, because when you look at Chad, you see all the confidence in the world. Like, you're not afraid to approach any situation. And I remember you said that you mentioned the major hype show, because I hosted that event, and then you were there, and they told you they asked you to do comedy on the spot. And I remember how nervous you were, but you went up there and you killed it. Like, that was just my opinion. And there's a lot of things that people don't know about Rico, Liz, and you and myself. Like, people don't know before I host any event that I go to a bathroom and I puke up. Like, I'm that nervous. I literally puke before I get on stage. And that's just that my nerves kill me. But then the person I looked up to the most as a host, I always judge myself because listen, as creatives, you see this right here, this is who we really fight, our minds.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to myself, I am not good enough to be a radio host. I am not good enough to be an MC on stage. And I met one of the most powerful speakers I've ever met in my life. And I looked up to him. And then one day I got to ask him a question. And I asked him, how do you go up there and maintain yourself and kill it every single time? And he said, bro, I go to the bathroom every time before I host and puke. And we literally connected because I didn't know that the person that I thought was better was doing the same things that I was doing. He said, fear is necessary. If you go up there with all the confidence in the world, in better terms, if you're cocky, then that's when it's probably gonna not work. You know, so you have to have a little bit of fear before you get up there. So Chad, I know that was a long description of getting to the point, but what I'm trying to say is that what you said, it gave me goosebumps, because to hear that you sat in bed and you cried. As creatives, we all go through that. I'm a big baby. Like,
we're all emotional.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure all of us have that story, because we want people to love what we did because we did it for them. Like, you know, it's really for you. It's not for us. It's like we stayed all night to create this for you to love it, and then we're getting negative feedback. So we're just, before this, we ask you any more questions, I just want to say, and I know Rico and Liz feel the same way, man, nothing made me feel prouder during COVID-19 than to see your video and to see our premiere then say like, this was good, because we all needed that laughter for COVID-19, and you have literally made people feel comfortable within this time, and that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Yeah. A few points. Rico mentioned something earlier that he said, Jesus, it just slipped in my mind. He said something earlier, man.
Yeah, Rico does that to people.
I remember what it was.
He was saying, setting the foundation for the youths of the generation, of the upcoming generation. And me and you have talked about this before, because I remember when me and you met up at one of Josh Pearl's openings at the art. Was it at Artness?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. We all came together and we were just having a serious discussion. We were saying, yo, most of all, I doing this for me. But 60 to 70% of me doing it for the people after me, yo. Like, I'm tired of seeing bankers. I'm tired of seeing accountants. I'm tired of seeing people run for government. I just tired of seeing it all. And that not me saying that there's nothing wrong with you wanting to do that. If that is your dream, then 100% go for that. Yeah. But you got kids out there that killing whatever creativeness that they have inside of them just to be a banker, just to be an accountant, just to study for something for years that they don't want to do.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And right now, I keep telling people, yo, you can do that on the side, but at the same time, you can still chase your dream.
Yeah.
It is possible.
It just comes down to like just hustling, really, and just getting work done. Yeah.
Trust me.
And I love the story you told about when you said that when you first started off, you only literally got like 2 likes or 2 or 4 people reposted it. Like, how long was that going on, Chad, until you got your big numbers?
That went on for probably 2 years. So 2 years of sucking and being bad at whatever I was doing.
Yeah,
but
man.
before that was the dub smash and the voiceovers. I was killing, like, no barely anybody was doing dub smashes in Caymanian, and anytime I did it, I was so blown. One time I got like 40 something comments, and I was like, yo, that is crazy. 100 likes. Whoa. Yo, bro, I don't even get over 20 likes on a picture, bro. You telling me that I get 100 likes and 40 something comments on a dub smash?
Man. Wow, man.
I was like, oh man. Then when I started doing my own videos, it was like, oh my God, I fell off. I fell off the cliff. I was like, what am I doing? 2 years of sucking.
That's remarkable, man.
Yeah.
I know I got one last question I wanted to ask, and this one is an important question to ask because now comedy usually insults a lot of people because you're literally trying to get laughter, but then if you're mimicking someone, then they're not taking that comedy in. Like I know there was a video you did with me and Preston, and I never knew that was something I did until you did it, but I never got offended by it, but I know other people would. If you did something with them, I think Preston was like, Preston is Preston. Preston has learned to talk by himself for a very long time. He's done his own morning show. With me, I never knew I talked about my wife a lot until you pointed it out. Like it was kind of like, yeah, man, I got a wife, so I'm smart. And when I heard when I heard that, I asked somebody at the radio station, do I do this? And they were like, yep, he got you good. Like that is you. Like you even be the guy to plug out somebody's mic if they're talking too much. So has anybody ever got offended for something? Yeah. And by the way, I did not get offended.
I know. But yeah, I have done a few videos and I try not to do too many local videos because some people do get offended.
Yeah.
And I have to end up either putting it up or taking it back down because of how sensitive the situation might be or is.
Yeah.
Because people just send me the first half of the story and I'd be like fighting with myself. I'd be like, yo, is this okay for me to put up? So most of the times I'll reach out to the individual in the video and I'd be like, yo, is it cool if I do this about you? They're like, hell yeah, go ahead. Other times I'd be like, nah, they wouldn't mind. That my boy, that I know her, we cool. She wouldn't take this offensive. And then until I post it, and then it's like, yo, disrespect fam.
Yeah.
And I like, shh, say less. I like delete fam. I don't want no negativity when I on the road. I Gucci, bro. Like, just leave me alone when you see me at burger shop with my friends. I don't want no arguments. Like, yeah, like people do get sensitive sometimes, and it's a tough industry for me to be in because where people thrive off of laughing at other people, trust me, it's hard. So that's why I got a fine line after the stuff I post, and I gotta watch what I say too, especially the stuff I do with the governors and stuff in the premiere. Yeah, I was on a fine line. Kind of let one slip.
You have any question, Liz?
Yeah, actually, speaking of, what you're doing with the governor and the premier, I mean, they've been largely supportive. How do you feel in this moment, kind of the influx of support I feel like you're getting from most of the population who's loving what you're doing, being able to like provide that levity? Does it give you a sense of like national pride?
Yeah, it does, because I'm not gonna lie to you, when he announced that, like when Dean mentioned it earlier, I got goosebumps all over and just remembering seeing my phone go ding, 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 ring, ring. And I'm like, yo, what the hell is going on? Missed calls, WhatsApps, Instagram messages, reposts. And I'm like, yo, what is going on? Then they were like, yo, the governor just big you up, like the premiere. I was like, that lie. Stop lying to me. I start sweating all over again. I'm nervous. I'm like, no, I'm like, they lying to me. So after it was actually Phoebe that sent me the video, he was like, yo, bro, the premiere just big you up. I said, yo, Phoebe, stop lying. He said, hold on. So he actually recorded it and then sent it to me, and I was like, yo, that is crazy. I said, like, yo, Alden.
Good feeling.
Like, Alden, my boy, Alden. Let's go, man.
We are like,
sorry. I think you probably also like gave like the green light to all other people or like meme creators and all that stuff. You're just like, all right, it's go time. Chad got approval of that. Everybody else.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just being vulnerable and really taking that risk. And like sometimes it might work out in your favor completely, like what happened now, and then sometimes it may be a whole backfire. But you don't really know until you try, until
that's
you
really.
why.
That's why you gotta tread carefully on what you say and do. I took a risk saying blue balls to Alden, but it worked in my favor.
yeah. That's true. Because it could have gone either way, but you took a risk, and I love that.
Yeah.
Now we are winding down for the show. We want to thank Chad Bodden for stopping by again on the Homeland show. We really have a lot of love for you, man. We appreciate you. Keep doing what you do. We're watching you, and we're not watching you to hope that you fall. We're watching you to hope that you rise. So just know that if you don't have anybody else is telling you that, we're going to be the first to tell you. We're going to honor you while you're alive, and we want to see you. We want to see you prosper, man. And you got fans right here. We always do this before we end the show. Each of us just give like a 30-second advice to someone that's watching the show based off of the message today. And I want to start with you, Chad, since you're our guest.
Oh my God. All right, advice. You should start with somebody else.
You can pass it on too.
Okay, I'm gonna pass it.
Yeah.
Lizzie.
You want to go, Liz?
Why not? I got something. No, you know what? It's funny because you were talking about the fact that like people in Cayman didn't necessarily support you. And that's actually like in the Bible, right? Like that a prophet is often not welcomed in his own home. Like Jesus couldn't perform miracles when he went back to his homeland. So I feel like that's a common experience. And I'd like for kids to know, I'd like for the generation below us to know, and people who are even older than us who are still in that mindset of like peer pressure, so I can't do this or I can't do that, to know that it's okay. You should do it anyway. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's doing it in spite of it. So my word for today is feel the fear, feel the pressure, do it in spite of it. And it doesn't matter if people immediately around you don't like it. It'll touch someone out there.
Amen. Let's go. Lizzie.
Oh, Liz. We should save you for last.
Rico.
Crazy. You know what? I would just be along the same lines of just be creative during this time. Obviously, we're going through a pandemic right now and what's going on all around the world. A lot of sadness right now, but also in this time as well as a lot of happiness coming from people like Chad and like ourselves who are just promoting positivity throughout, social media and social networking. And it's just a good time to be super creative. Also, remember to wash your hands and just, stay safe, obviously stay home and just be super creative.
Amen. And I'll make mine very quick before Chad's, man. It's just very simple, guys. Like Chad touched on something that was really important. And since Liz went very biblical, I will too. There was a time that Jesus performed this ultimate miracle of making this girl rise again because she was dead. And before he did that, he kicked people out of the room. Like he told people, you have to leave. And nobody ever really put that in proper context. But the reason that Jesus told people to leave was because he couldn't perform the miracle around negative people. So sometimes you're going to have to close your door and work on your art without telling your best friend, your mom, or anybody on social media. You just got to work on it because that dream was given to you, not everybody else. And the biggest curse of your talents is people. So please, until you're ready to perform it, keep people away from it and just do it in secret. Do it in the club behind closed doors.
Mind your energy. Love it.
Yeah.
Thumbnail.
All right.
What up, Chad?
I can say in these times, isolation is a gift. Don't ever think it's not, because in pursuing your dream, you can lose friends, you can lose girlfriends, you might even lose wives, you might lose your job. You might even starve on a bench for days, sleep outside, be homeless, but at the same time, never give up on your dreams, because God gave you those tools for a reason, right? He didn't give them to everybody else. If God gave you the tools, you got work to build it. He can't do it for you. Never forget that. Once more into the fray, onto the last good fight that I will ever know. to live or to die on this day. To live or to die. And that means live every day like it was your last. Boom! Bam! That's me! That's me!
Yo, I'm going to the church that Chad goes to in East End.
Hey, whoa. I got kind of tread carefully across, foreign grounds up there.
No, man, you're good, man. This has been a brilliant interview. Thank you so much to my host, man, Liz, Charles, Rico, Rolando. Thank you to our special guest, Chad. You're remarkable. Keep doing what you're doing, man. And hopefully we get you back on the Homeland show. This has been a really insightful interview, like really, really. This is the first time I actually got goosebumps on this show. So thank you so much, Chad.